We are the first radio to come alive in a visual format. It's quite a treat. Already now, tell your cousin and tell them to tell their friends so that you don't just listen, but get to watch as well. It's such an experience. We are live on high definition. My name is Eric. If it's your first time joining in, Karibu Sana, please feel at home. I'm in the studio with Emmanuel and Barbara. And yes, we'll introduce our guests shortly. But a quick reminder, today being Thursday, Shout Out Thursday, you can use this opportunity to shout out whomever you want. How to do that is once you've texted them or called them, head over to 40127, which is our SMS short code, or you could do that via Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SpiceFMKE. While at it, remember the hashtag AdultsKE, and tell us what you're thinking about these conversations, the ones we had earlier and the ones we're going to be, the preceding conversation we're going to be having. All right. Achieving heightened sensation, multiple orgasms, and getting a bigger size. That's the conversation we are having. And we're not having it with anybody. We are having it with someone so special. I'll introduce them in a minute. Now, over the years, the market for elective surgery and cosmetic procedures has grown, even in the harsh economic times when luxury spending was expected to be low. On today's show, we are joined by Dr. Arshni Malde, who's a specialist in aesthetic medicine. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for having me here.
It's a delight to have you here. Did you find a lot of traffic, or was it easy getting here?
Pretty much a bit of traffic as usual, then with all the bottlenecks because of the construction.
Yeah.
But yeah, not too bad.
Oh, fantastic.
It's only once in a while that I come this side.
All right, good to have you. Quick introduction, my name is Eric.
Hi.
And nice to meet you. On your left is Barbara. She refers to herself as the Duchess of Ikolomani.
Yes.
She'll tell you during the break where she got that beautiful name from.
Okay.
And then on your right is my colleague, Emmanuel.
Hi.
So together with another individual who's not in the room, but they are listening, called Msikilizaji. All right. So the four of us make the adults in the room, and it's really nice that you found time to be here with us.
Lovely. Thank you too.
Let's jump right into it. I've read that men are increasingly joining the bandwagon as technology improves with, cosmetic surgery, including liposuction. A lot of men are demanding for that. Many getting bigger sizes. Do you have a limit to the inch a man can request for?
Really?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I can't come and say I want a 15-inch.
I don't know. Do you think that's possible?
First, is it even possible to increase the size?
To a certain extent, yes.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing is we're using stem cell therapy. Stem cells are known to regenerate or, sort of build up something in your body or make it new, as we can call it in layman term.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think somebody would want it so big as well.
All right. Just, so what is the inch in terms of, what is the maximum addition per inch that a man can get?
Ideally 1 to 2 than what the man would have originally.
All right.
Yes.
The 1 to 2 is fair.
Yeah.
I know somebody who would need another inch, at least one. On top of their one. Emmanuel, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Do people come with specific information about how many inches they want, or they come and they ask you for advice? Like, is it that specific in terms of the clients?
I mainly get people coming and asking about heightened sensation and wanting to orgasm more. So that's the main question from men or women.
All right.
And we do it for both. Honestly, I've had more females than males till date. Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's more of a question for females as opposed to males. So, yeah, but that's mainly the question as apart from, men asking about the size and wanting to increase the size.
Eric, now that we're still up on the size, before we move on, if someone has, say, an injury, maybe I was rough somewhere, or maybe I was just in an accident. Is the stem cell thing able to correct injuries to, the weapon?
Again, to a certain extent. Depends on how much damage is done. But yes, it's sometimes considered an alternative to surgery because the whole motor behind it is it's regenerating your muscles. And this is entirely a muscle. So, yes, to a certain extent it does, and you can repair it.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Shnil, I read that you do non-surgical procedures and you major in that. Would you
Yes.
like? I would like to know, and I'm sure someone out there, what do you mean by non-surgical procedures? And is it laser therapy or what do you use?
So every non-surgical procedure is different, and in terms of aesthetics, I would like to specify on stuff like non-surgical facelift, non-surgical breast lift, non-surgical butt lift, and obviously the stem cell therapy that we do for male and female rejuvenation, as we call it.
Yes.
But non-surgical means it's nothing invasive. You know, when you're considering surgery, surgery is like cutting open and
Going under the knife.
yes, absolutely. But non-surgical means there's always just a small incision or it's just injections per se. So it's not laser specifically.
Yes.
But yes, definitely something a little invasive, but not as invasive as going under the knife.
How long does it take, the healing process? That, for example, if I decide to do a facelift to work on my cheeks or chin, how long is the healing process? Is it the same as it was for someone who actually went under the knife?
Trust me, there's no healing process.
Oh.
There's no downtime. There's no swelling.
It's immediate. Like
It's
I come
immediate.
to your office and with 30 minutes or an hour later, my chin will be looking different.
Yes, absolutely. So in an hour's time, we give you 70% of instant result. The other 30% takes about a week to 2 weeks. But you can't tell. I mean, all you'll have on your face is just 2 dots here, 1 dot at the top. That's the incision per se as to where we're putting the product in from.
Yes.
But that's it, which you can cover with foundation. But you can go back to work, and that's why we call it a lunchtime lift.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So I can come and do it over lunchtime and be back here.
absolutely, absolutely.
You know, Arshni, I've heard from the bar talk and also from the grapevine that, you know, you've seen a lot of these video vixens. So there's a lot of conversation around gluteal enhancement, and a lot of women are taking that option. For some reason, there's some beauty from the back now that men are quite enthralled by. As a layman, if I wanted my wife to maybe enhance their glutes, would it affect me, say, when we get down to intercourse? Say, I've heard somebody say in the bar that if, say, you are behind, you could burst the material that has been put in there. Is that in actual fact, or is just useless, mendacious propaganda?
To a certain extent, it's an actual fact. Because what happens is a lot of the crowd is going to what we call quacks.
Yeah.
And we really don't know what they're putting in. So burst in terms of, okay, when there's something called silicone that's used,
Yes.
and you're using, you know, sort of a cheap silicone, or you're trying to just get a procedure done in a very economical way,
Yeah.
you don't know what they're injecting. So yes, there are chances of it being, you know, broken or bursting out. And that often happens with the pressure and also cheap quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've heard that some countries inject chicken stock as well.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about it. Yeah.
You know, speaking of even that silicone stuff, but there is a lot of boob enhancement, which you've talked about. I keep wondering, can a woman have their breast size increased and still breastfeed, or does it affect everything else once you get a boob job?
They generally don't recommend if you're doing any family planning or, you know, you are breastfeeding or you're about to have kids or you're pregnant. But yes, you can, because it's not really intervening with any nerve supply or
All right.
any kind of supply per se. So you can go ahead and breastfeed. yes.
And when we are making out, it's not going to affect our feelings and kill the sensitivity around the breast. It won't be like I'm sucking at a polythene bag, perhaps. It doesn't
still feel organic.
Yeah, will it
What do you
feel?
mean you can feel organic?
Will it still feel the same?
Maybe not for you, the man.
Oh, shame.
Or it changes the sensation.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's more stiff, more artificial.
Yeah.
You don't get that feel, the natural feel. And but for the women, the sensation is still there.
Ah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said it
That
doesn't kill
hurt.
the nerves, but if I cannot feel the action that the man is doing.
No, the woman is the same. She just
No,
said.
the
it's only
woman
the-
feels.
No, the woman
Oh.
feels. The
The
guy is the
man
one who
just
doesn't.
feels different because, you
Or
know.
from if you'd actually tasted the first round, so it will be different from this.
Yeah, yes.
What do you think
Okay.
about that, man?
No, I would be excited. I thought it is going to alter her feelings towards me. So it's just a bunch of, say, polythene bags tashed up together, and so any foreplay is just like, all right, you finish. I can't feel anything. I thought it used to numb. I thought it numbed their, their twins.
But
But if
that
it doesn't, then that's a good thing. I
that
think for
means-
her and the man.
That means that the lady should consult the guy first.
Indeed, because I often find most men going against their women doing it because they don't want anything artificial.
Yeah.
I think they like it more natural in as much as it may be shapeless or sizeless
Yeah.
or whatever we want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, consultation definitely. And both of you should do it together, the man and the woman.
All right.
Yes.
Do you do? I don't know if you have time to answer this because we're about to go to a break. But Eric, we can talk about if you do a lot of counseling before you provide the service. Because now, if a lady comes there, she wants heightened sensation, and maybe the problem is not the sensation. Maybe it's just the guy she's with who's not doing the right thing. So I'm curious about if you ask a couple of questions in regard to the methodology before you do the service, or you just do it and then someone will go and sort themselves out.
Also coupled with that, as it pertains secrecy, because I'm imagining it's a very private thing. If I came for, say, a bigger size and I'm dating Barbara and I just want to surprise her, I wanted to go like, oops, that feels different. And then you are here counseling me and telling me I need to consult with my significant other. How does that play out? We'll have that conversation when we come back. If you're joining the conversation, we are in the studio with Dr. Arshni Malde. She is an aesthetic specialist, medicine specialist, and you're more than welcome to ask whichever questions you might have. We are here with her all the way until 10 o'clock. Remember, you can catch this show live on www.spicefm.co.ke, and you could shoot your questions on 40127. It's very private. Even if you want to remain anonymous, you could totally do that. It's completely permissible. My name is Eric. We are the adults in the room all the way until 10 o'clock. Good evening, 15 minutes past 8 p.m.
Spice.
4.4 Spice FM, 19 minutes past 8 o'clock. Where are you listening to the show from? Did you just join us? My goodness me, where have you been? Ulikuwa wapi? Karibu sana. We are here with you all the way until 10 o'clock. If you're new to the program, this is the adults in the room. It comprises of 4 individuals, you and 3 others in the studio, Barbara, myself, Eric, and Emmanuel. Thank you so much for choosing 94.4 Spice FM. We don't take it lightly. You'd be anywhere else in the world. You'd be in Mumbai or all the way in New York. But now you're just here with us, listening from Rongai, and we appreciate you for that. If you've joined the program, we are smack in the middle of our conversation, and we're joined by Dr. Arshni Malde, who's a specialist in aesthetic medicine. Aesthetic medicine. So if you're thinking liposuction, you're thinking maybe some touches kidogo on the boob, or maybe you want a gluten enhancement. You've been dying to be a video vixen, but you are quite flat, a little flat, and you're thinking, I know how to wiggle my waist, but if only I could get a slight glute job, and then I'm raised kidogo, that would be excellent. So Dr. Arshni is here for all those conversations. I more than invite you to ask whichever questions you might have on 40127. That is our SMS short code. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SpiceFMKE is our social media handle. While at it, give us a follow. And from 9 o'clock, in less than 35 minutes, we are going to be opening the phone line so you can call in live and ask our questions directly on the air. So, karibu sana. Also, remember, it's Shout Out Thursday. Even as you are talking about glutes and all these wonderful things, you can use this opportunity, as it's our custom every Thursday, to give you a chance to shout out whomever you want. Before the break, Emmanuel, you'd asked a question, and I tied it to your question. And the question, I was tying it to yours before I throw it to you to ask whatever you're asking. I was thinking, Dr. Arshni, that the choice to go the aesthetic surgery route is very personal and can lead a patient to opt for secrecy. and I was asking, do you demand that a patient informs their significant other? How does that work out with if they want an element of surprise? I mean, we are aging closer to Valentine's, and maybe my girlfriend Barbara had a problem with the girth. She just felt like, I don't even realize when you're beginning. Like, it just goes in, and then further down the road, I am like, oh, wow, so you are in there already. So I want to surprise her. How does that work out? I want a surprise. You want me to tell her. What do you do in such a case?
I often don't push my patients to wanting to tell the significant other.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are so, I would say, secretive about their personal lives.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't even reveal their identity to me in the right manner. Like, I'll often have somebody just write Karyuki, Mrs. Karyuki, or Miss Karyuki, and they don't even write their full name, so that we don't know who they are. So even if I do try to ask a few questions, they get offended. But yes, I do put it in an indirect way that you do, it's something that you're going to go through, and it's something that, if you are having a sexual life, then you are supposed to inform your significant other. But then I don't push them for it, and I don't really opt for the counseling part of it because it's really their choice. And I really seen people come in and not want to reveal anything that they're doing. So it's not just this, but even something like a hair transplant, which we do. And, they don't want to mention it to anybody at all. I mean, I've often had people refuse for me to take pictures as well. And we need to, because we need to document the process.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow somebody's going to come and say, oh, there's no difference at all. But we have the difference here visually for you. So, we often get that. And I think we've just limited ourselves to not wanting to invade too much into somebody's privacy.
You've mentioned something, Emmanuel, in just quick 1 second. Hair transplant. As you can see, I'm balding slightly. I read something mortifying a couple of years back. So Wayne Rooney, I don't know if he still plays for Manchester United. He went and performed a hair transplant. He used to be bald, and now he has hair. But I read on some main feature on the newspaper and even in some tabloids that he got ED after performing hair transplant. Are they related? If I fixed my hair, I can lose my power on my member?
I don't see how. I don't think so at all, because there's nothing so invasive that we're doing.
Yeah.
The only toxic thing that we would be using, I mean, it's not toxic really, but we're using anesthesia. It's just local anesthesia. We're just blocking out the head or the scalp for that matter. But we're really using your own hair, just replanting it from one area to the other area.
Where do you get the hair?
Where does he get? Like him, he doesn't have hair.
Where do you get hair from my body? Like the pubic hair?
No. We only use the back of the head mainly, and you do have that.
Yes.
Even though I haven't seen the back, but
Yeah,
I know.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you transplant it from the back to
To the
yes,
front.
Alright.
yes.
Do you just pluck it totally and put it at the front? Or?
Ideally, yes. We're supposed to get the root, and the root is inside the scalp. So it's a little bulb that you see inside. Even if you're off, yes, exactly. And that's what we need to get. So most people, men or women, no matter how much they age or how much they bald, they always have the back of the head, or the hair on the back of the head. And that's what we need. And we're not depleting the back as well.
Yeah.
We're, you have about 100,000 hair, and the maximum we would remove is 4,000 or 5,000. So we're leaving you with the 95,000 anyway.
And
we're
does
still
it grow
restoring.
naturally after you replant it to the front?
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Does it break the bank to do such a procedure? Like, how long does it take?
A hair transplant takes between 1 and 2 days, 6 to 7 hours in a day. But it means that you come in the morning, go back home in the evening, come back the next day in the morning, and go back home in the evening. But something like what we call the flow shot or the stem cell therapy takes only 10 minutes. So it varies from procedure to procedure, but anything from 10 minutes to maximum of 2 days. But you're not, an inbound patient, or you're not staying there or anything like that. Like I said, it's completely minimally invasive, or any procedure
And
for
is
that
it painful?
matter. No, I would say. Only the anesthesia part may be a little painful. And of course, I mean, if you're doing something to your body, even if you cut yourself, you're going to have some sort of discomfort. So yes, some sort of discomfort, but it's something bearable. It's not even like surgery or nothing like falling and breaking an arm.
Despite the discomfort you're talking about, is there any other side effect that someone should expect? Because depending on whatever procedure you're taking.
Most of the procedures I do have no side effects whatsoever.
Headaches, things like that?
So maybe a little bit of pain post a transplant, for example, or maybe a little bit of pain post the flow shot. But it's not something that will last you days, just a couple of hours, but that's about it.
Back to the question I was asking, although you've answered it in part about counseling, but my wife loves watching these shows on YouTube about these guys who are trying to lose weight. So it's interesting, like she's addicted to watching those things. And one of the things I've picked from those things she watches is she tells me that some of these people are addicted to going for procedures. So some people are addicted to going for liposuctions and stuff like that. So do you have such situations with your clients, like people who are addicted to procedures? So I come, I'm making my head, then next week I'm coming, I'm making something else, so I'm never ever satisfied with my body. Do you get that?
I wouldn't say that you're not satisfied, but I think we all accept one thing at one point. We're just too lazy to work on ourselves.
Yeah.
So even if it comes to weight loss or, working on your face or working on the glow on your face or trying to do some home remedies being Asians, we do a lot of home remedies for growing hair and stuff. But, still, you don't want to do that at home. You don't want to spend those 2 hours. You'd rather you go somewhere, spend the money, and get yourself done properly. So whatever it is. But yes, it is a sort of an addiction because I think we're in so much of a social world these days that you just want to look good all the time anywhere you are, and it's much more of a competition. Back in the day, people didn't care about how they looked as much. But I think now, even if somebody who's having a medium range of income still wants to look good, they'll still opt for cutting out a meal for the day and rather spending that money on themselves and looking good at the end of the day.
Dr. Arshni.
We are hanging out with Dr. Arshni Malde. She is a specialist in aesthetic medicine. And guess what? You can ask whichever question you might have or even a concern via Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SpiceFMKE is our social media handle on all three. We also have an SMS code just for you, 40127. So make use of all of that. And in 30 minutes, we'll open the phone lines. So get ready, get your airtime ready. Make sure the spot where you normally speak to your mom with Apple. That's where you're standing so that she can hear you clearly. We are together until 10 o'clock. Good evening. It's 8:30.
Spice.
We have had the pleasure of being joined by Dr. Arshni Malde, who is a specialist in aesthetic medicine, and we're discussing all things liposuctions, all things gluten enhancement, all things the breast enhancement. Whichever question you might have, we are more than glad if you just head over to 40127 or Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and shoot straight. She's so gracious. She's spending the entire evening with us, at least until 10 o'clock. So also get your airtimes ready when you open the phone line so you can call and ask whichever questions you have. Barbara, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Dr. Arshni, when it comes to achieving heightened sensation for ladies and multiple orgasms, does it entail actually a physical, you see how men you're increasing in length and width? Does that also apply in ladies, that you might make it smaller or make it deeper or make it shallower? Is it more or less the same treatment?
Yes, same treatment, yes. Yes, we are improving the size, but we're making it smaller.
Okay.
Why? Because so this is the clitoral muscle.
Yes.
And what we're trying to do is just make it more tighter. And that's how it's going to help women orgasm faster and much more better. So often what happens is because of, giving birth or for any other reason whatsoever, the muscle becomes loose, the clitoris becomes loose, and all we want to do is just tighten it. And that's the reason that now you will have better sensation and heightened sensation. But yes, for women, we do use it for urinary incontinence as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you often find, a few females complaining that they might just urinate, in case they're coughing or sneezing as
Yes.
well.
Like fistula?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, again, the muscle is loose.
Okay.
So what happens is, any kind of, movement like coughing, sneezing, that's just going to make them urinate slightly. And all we're trying to do is tighten that muscle as well. So we're basically injecting plasma, which is from your own blood, into the muscle in between your vagina and the urethra. And that's tightening the muscles, and it's helping you cure any kind of urinary incontinence or urinary infections, because of a lot of us using public toilets or using toilets that are from your office space, and you don't know who's using it and how many people using it, so you're so prone to infections all the time.
Yes.
And then yes, it's helping the vagina as well and tightening the clitoral muscle, so any kind of sexual dysfunction as well is cured completely.
Would it also help someone who's gone through circumcision as a lady? Because we have ladies who've gone through that. Would these procedures also work for them to heighten their sensations?
I mainly do it on women who have gone through circumcision,
Okay.
or FGM as we call it.
Yes.
Because it's really common in the African countries.
Yes.
And a lot of Kenyan women suffer through, FGM, and then they have no sensation whatsoever.
Yes, I've had that.
And then, they just think that, sex is just something they need to mandatorily do, but they're not really enjoying it. And this is the whole point. So 3 sessions, 1 session every month. And they really increase their sensations, and they actually start liking, they do have sexual desires. They want to have sex. And it's working wonders for them. I mean, I bring back at least 80 to 90% of sensation, even though they've gone through FGM.
And if someone is going through this process now, you said it's like in 3 months, after the first session, do they continue having sex, or they have to wait until the whole procedure is done?
I tell them to have sex the same day.
Oh.
So if I have, can it be like an instant solution? Like say I have a wife, for example, never ever gotten her to orgasm. And then we have a conversation and say, since I've tried all the other tricks, I've tried my hand, we bought a couple of toys, nothing is working. Can I bring her to the clinic, and then you do the magic thing, and then when we go back home, it'll be orgasms back to back?
I think that it's also a point of self-realization as well, and they need to know, some women don't even understand what an orgasm is. Some women don't even know how to feel it. Even if they don't know that is it. So it has to be a point of realization for them themselves, learn what it is and know how to expect it. But yes, I've had cases wherein people, obviously not the same day, I give about 3 days buffer time and 1 week peak time for results to show. But I have people who walk in and they're like, you know what, 5 times. And I was like, okay, wow, that's nice. So yes, it does work.
I think the clinic will be overflowing with guys tomorrow.
Oh, AKA you. Dr. Arshni, one of the things that I think, even in my conversations growing up about cosmetic surgery, there is a lot of ignorance around it, I suppose, from what I hear guys peddling on the streets. Would you say that it's become more socially acceptable, in your opinion, to perform a cosmetic procedure today than in the years of yore?
Yes, it has been more socially acceptable, but still just as secretive. I mean, most people who walk in, like I said, don't want to reveal that they got something done.
Yes.
They want to look good personally, but they don't want to go out and tell the world that, oh yes, I did do this and it's actually working and it's good. And, anybody who's suffering from the same thing should go out and get it done. But yes, men are more aware than women are these days. I still have the clinic flocking with men because they want to do more procedures, from a facelift to hair transplant to skin brightening to anything for that matter. And, I generally just have more men than women. So, yes, a lot of stereotypes are changing.
The other thing that
like skin brightening for men.
The other thing that I think, the miseducation in my view comes from a place of ignorance, as I said earlier. Because if somebody were involved in a road accident, the society easily accepts their reconstructive surgery.
Yes.
But John got involved in a road accident and his face got really deformed, and now we have Dr. Arshni working on him, and that's acceptable. But if I have a sagging chin, all of a sudden, people are judging me. Do you think in the near future, maybe we need to educate you, say, for instance, whatever you do you go out of your way to educate the society, perhaps, so to be more accepting of people's choices and what they do with their bodies?
I'm really trying. It's been a rough road because a lot of people don't even know that these procedures are actually available. A lot of people don't even know that they're aging. A lot of people don't know that they're balding. And they don't know, even if they do, they don't know that there's a cure for it.
Oh, right.
So it's been such a rough road for us because in as much as we're trying to tell people that you can be, young and everlasting, and you can look good forever, whether you're in your 70s or your 80s, and you can still look like you're in your 50s.
Yeah.
So yes, even if you go onto our social media pages, we try and educate the crowd as much as possible. From the very smallest of the things, we try and put out points, we try and put out videos, we try and put out pictures, just to educate the crowd and let them know that yes, this is possible and this is what you should do. Why do you want to look old when you're not old?
Yeah.
Or even if you are old, why do you still want to look old? Look young. It's always good.
The procedures, does it also include maybe if I'm a lady and I have so many stretch marks, but can you get rid of those?
Absolutely. We can. That has been the easiest thing to do because there's so much of technology for it, getting rid of stretch marks. And stretch marks are often associated post-pregnancy, after losing weight, after gaining weight.
Yeah.
So yes, there's lots of different treatments and lots of different treatments in terms of, price-wise. So you don't have to go all out and spend your entire bank account on getting your stretch marks removed. It's pretty much easy. But no, stuff like bio oil doesn't work.
So how does it look like? Is it also a stem cell thing? Could you describe how it works in layman's terms?
So we do laser. Laser is one of the treatments. Laser is just basically a machine which radiates some sort of UV light or some sort of light, and it's penetrating into the skin to a certain extent and then regenerating or reforming your skin. And that's why it's getting rid of stretch marks, because what are stretch marks is just uneven skin. This is all just trying to explain in layman term. And there's stuff like fibroblast plasma treatment, which is now just using an electronic pen that we run through your skin, and that's again regenerating your skin and the top layer of your skin, trying to make it normal. Then we have, stem cell therapy as well. We have collagen induction therapy, which means that we're trying to regenerate the collagen in your skin, which is the main part of your skin. So I often try to do multiple treatments in one go to give a sure shot 100% result. So I can combine collagen induction with plasma fibroblast, and give the best result possible.
So is it permanent or they can come back?
Generally,
do I have to still work on it, on myself, or it's permanent?
It's generally permanent, but obviously if you're going to put on a lot of weight and then lose weight again, they're going to come back. Or if you're going to get pregnant and then, women, and, then they're going to deliver, they're still going to have it because it's just stretchy skin that's giving you stretch marks. So, yeah, it really depends on how much maintenance you or the patient does. But the same stretch marks won't come back unless there's a reason.
Talking about pregnant ladies, when we were on a break, I was talking to you about something, and I feel that there are women who go through it. Skin tags. That after I delivered my child, I think a few months into it, I noticed I got some skin tags on my neck. So for me, I decided to get a procedure. I had a laser surgery for it, something quick, about an hour. Then it went. Then I think 3 years later, fast forward, again, I noticed I'm getting. Is it something that you treat? And if you treat, is it something that would be permanent? Or because it's hormonal and because some women get it after they give birth, that is something that recurs?
So there's two reasons for it. One, hormonal, and one, the sun. You will often find a lot of people in Kenya, whatever race, they have skin tags, or they have what we call seborrheic keratosis. They're those dark little patches that everybody
Yes.
has on their skin. Not everybody, but some people. And it's mainly because of the sun.
Kitengela sun, God.
Or hormonal imbalance, as you said.
Yes.
But yes, we do, as I mentioned, plasma fibroblast. It's just a small pen that I have, and I run it through your skin tags. I'm sort of burning them off.
Is it painful?
We use a numbing cream, or we use anesthesia, depending on how many there are. So most of my procedures are absolutely painless.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just a one time, takes about 10 to 15 minutes if it's even the whole face and the neck. And I definitely guarantee that they don't come back. You may see one or two later, which are new, but it's not the same ones that have come back.
Okay.
Dr. Arshni Malde is a specialist in aesthetic medicine, and she's hanging out with the adults this evening from 8 o'clock all the way to 10 o'clock. And guess what? She's here for you as well. Habat Alitsi, I see you. Collins Muhindi from Mombasa, I see you. Also Wahome, I see you. All of you with your questions. From 9 o'clock, I think, Barbara, we could read some of the questions for Daktari to answer,
Yes.
even as we are picking phone calls. Daktari, when we come back, I want us to talk a little about what drives a client's decision for surgery and whether or not you inquire about their goals and say turn them down if the reasons they give you are not compelling. So you want to think about that, and then we'll touch on that a little bit. So if somebody says, I just want to get back to my ex with my snappy waist, do you perform a surgery on somebody like that, or you just tell them, hey, that is not a good enough reason? We are hanging out Dr. Arshni Malde all the way until 10 o'clock. Remember, it's Shout Out Thursday. Yes, Shout Out Thursday. You want to do that thing on 40127. Adam Levine hosted The Voice since 2011. You know, I'm talking about Maroon 5, She Will Be Loved. And guess who is obsessed with yoga? Adam, are you obsessed with yoga? I don't like it. It makes me bend in a precarious position. But Daktari looks like she does yoga. She'll tell us as we go. Luckily, 8:45 p.m. Much for choosing 94.4 Spice FM. These wonderful 4th day of February 2021. And guess what? If you're in a relationship and you're not going with us to the conference as men, you want to factor in Valentine's and maybe even start shopping around for flowers or the gift she will like. Don't act surprised. Don't say, I didn't know. You knew. I've been reminding you every day. So as of today, you have 9 days. Yes, you do. You have 9 days. And you, dear lady, try and up your gifts. I'm tired. This is on behalf of that person you're dating, of boxer shorts and briefs and very dull, boring socks. Try something new. Maybe a shoelace, perhaps, because I know you have to keep it really, really inexpensive.
And ladies, just take note. For those who will be saying we'll be going for the conference, remember, it's a scam. It's a lie.
We have
There's
a conference. Barbara is not a member of that conference, so don't listen to her. And we are going to Lebanon via South Africa, via Uganda, via Tanzania.
And remember, via in their mind, via.
But we
It's
need
imaginary.
We need to go and meet Daktari so to just spruce ourselves up.
We
are looking dapper. at the conference.
Absolutely. She has to do some work on us. If you're joining the conversation, a very good evening to you, and thank you once more for choosing 94.4 Spice FM. My name is Eric. We are the adults in the room, and today we have such a pleasure of hosting a doctor, not just any other doctor. She's Dr. Arshni Malde, who's a specialist in aesthetic medicine. And I read that you actually have a history of dentistry as well, and you abandoned it, and your parents were almost fainting.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mother was like, what are you doing in life? Why did I educate you for 5 years? And is this what you want to do?
Yeah.
But yes, I went on to do masters in aesthetic medicine.
Yes.
And
In Germany.
Yes, and that's how I devoured into all of this. because I've just found it more interesting, more rewarding. I was based in India for my first job after closing up my clinic here. And I was so lucky to be working for Priyanka Chopra. So, yes, she was my first boss.
She's beautiful.
She's really beautiful and the best boss possible.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was a good experience. And at that time, I was doing just a part-time job, thinking that, my mother's voice was haunting me and like, what are you doing? And so I thought, no, I do need to do a bit of dentistry as well. So trying to look for a part-time job, and it never happened. And then just completely devoured into aesthetics. Found it more rewarding. I found much more happy patients. And, I actually just realized that I can bring so much of change to people, and they're so appreciative about it. And you're really changing somebody's life by changing their appearance. And then, like we mentioned, it's a point of realization for a lot of people that they need to stay young. There's no limit for you to start or no limit for you to stop. So, yes. And now my mom's I'm her main addiction. Because she's at my clinic every other day like, oh, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?
Wow. That is sweet.
She's right there at the back and she's
I
laughing.
And she's beautiful. I just met her during the break.
Thank you.
Before the break, I had asked you a question about the reasons a patient would give that will qualify you to decide that it's compelling enough for you to perform a procedure. What drives a client's decision for surgery, and what isn't permissible? Supposing I want a revenge body, my ex left me and I want a chiseled chest, would you proceed and perform a procedure for such a reason, perhaps?
I always give that personal touch. But I said, in as much as, most patients are so secretive about what they're doing. So I often don't get people coming to me and, really explaining why they want it done. They're just so adamant they want it. I have patients who walk in with a picture of Pamela Anderson and they'll be like, I want to look exactly like this.
Oh, wow.
So I try to explain to them that you're not Pamela and, you're not going to look like that. But yes, I do give my personal touch. I do try to befriend most of my patients because it's very necessary in this field, and it's not like a normal doctor's profession or a dentist profession wherein somebody's coming just in the need of the hour because they're in pain or they want to get cured. This is more luxury, and you're changing somebody for the good, but then you don't want them to go out there and then come back later and say, oh, what have you done to me? So I do try and give advice in my own way, but then I don't do too much of extra. I always explain to them that I'm only going to do a bit of it. If you like it, then that's good. If you feel it's less, we can always do an extra. But if we've done the extra, then we can't go back. So
do you get a lot of botched, clients? Someone has gone to, a quack, and now they're coming back to you for, to repair the damage. And then is there a lot of that in Kenya? Or are there very many quacks doing the same thing in Kenya?
Believe you me, not even quacks, even good regular doctors with big names, not in Kenya. I'm talking just generally. I often see that, as we were talking, that some doctors or some people have just become into a money-making thing. And they really just go out there and do so much of extra stuff just to make that extra buck. And then you're not giving the right result to the patient. So I do see a lot of botched procedures. I see people filled with Botox and fillers, and they're looking absolutely plastic, and not plastic like Barbie plastic, but plastic like a plastic basin.
They look
plastic.
surprised.
And
they look surprised because their eyes can't shut.
Exactly. They're like, this all the time. And, I've had botched hair transplants as well. Wherein, people have gone out in the world to do something really cheap. Because they find it reasonable, and then those people have really cheated them and just implanted the hairline and left the corners in the center.
So hair only grew around.
Yeah, so you look like a garden fence. And And then, they come back, and I often try to just charge costs sometimes for such people because they've really lost their confidence. They don't even believe that, we can rectify it for them, or they don't even believe that something can be done about it. So they've lost confidence in themselves, and they've lost confidence in the procedure, and they've lost confidence in doctors, generally. But a lot of them that I see every now and then these days, especially because people are going all out. I mean, I see people who go in for skin whitening and pick up, products from River Road. I'm sorry to say this, whoever's doing this, but, and then they're so fair one day, and then they come back so dark the other day because they've literally hyperpigmented. And then
Just
now they
like
don't
some
know.
electricity generating company. It's on today and off tomorrow.
Absolutely. And then, we can't even reverse it completely because the damage is so bad and it's so much that it's impossible, because whatever you do, your body's not just accepting it now. So, it's such a trauma to them, and I feel bad for the patient more than anything else that, just to get something, they're going the cheap way out and then really getting devastated.
Have you ever had a chance to tell someone, no, I can't do this because of the previous procedures you've done?
I explain to them, and I tell them that we will try in as much as we can to restore as much as we can. Because I definitely do try to restore and, combine a couple of treatments together. But then I do tell them that as well, that I'm not guaranteeing because of some permanent damage that's been done from somewhere else.
Okay.
And obviously I give them a time limit and a time frame and say that, okay, in this much time, if we feel there's no change whatsoever, I'd advise you to stop, rather than going all out and then saying, oh, I'm sorry, it didn't work. Yeah.
Maybe you can go get rid of that tattoo, the botched one.
Oh, the one you have.
The one you have.
Oh. Emmanuel has a challenge with his left armpit. Hairs won't grow there, Daktari. We'll book a session with you privately so we see what we can do about that, because he looks unseemly. If he lifts his hands up, in fact, there's a time he was rearrested because the cops thought he was a clown. They're just like, what's happening to your left armpits? It's like, I can explain.
They don't mind them. They're very close. They know so much about each other's parts of the body.
I'm seeing that armpits, and that's quite
they know quite a lot that it shocks me sometimes. I've gotten used to it.
Achieving heightened sensation, multiple orgasms, and getting a bigger size is the conversation we are having today. And what a pleasure. We are so delighted to be hosting Dr. Arshni Malde, who's a specialist in aesthetic medicine, and she's answering all of our questions, including yours. How do you ask a question? Very simple. You can shoot us a text on 40127 40127, or head over to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're on all three social media platforms at Spice FM. KE is our social media handle. If you like, you can add adult KE so that Barbara, myself, and Emmanuel can quickly locate your feedback. Ask whichever question you like. When we come back, I'm going to open the phone line so you can call in. Make sure to switch off your radio so that Daktari can hear you. For hanging out with us from 7 all the way until now, as my closer South African friends would say, Nkosi. If you're in Parklands area, Westlands, all the way to Lavington, 94.4 will serve you just right. What about South B, South C, Jerry, Marish? 94.4. And what about Roy, which keeps getting farther every time I visit? 94 will do. 94.4 will do. 94.4 is the frequency in the capital. And you can catch this show on www.spicefm.co.ke. It's Thursday. You know what that means if you're a member of the family. And if you're new, Shout Out Thursday is what happens to all of us together. It's your opportunity to shout out whomever you want. You can do that via Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or you could shoot us a text on 40127. If you've joined the conversation, perhaps you're arguing with your wife and you decided to just go upstairs and listen to some sane conversation, Karibu, just text and tell her you love her so that the fight does not escalate. But what we are on about is conversations around heightened sensation, multiple orgasm, and getting a bigger size. If you're a man and you feel a bit, you do with an inch or an inch and a half, doctor says, this is your conversation. And on today's show, we've been joined by Dr. Arshni Malde, who's a specialist in aesthetic medicine. She's answering all of our questions, including yours. How do you ask a question? 40127 is the way you can shoot us a text send a message on that platform. Barbara, myself, and Emmanuel will have a look-see and then read it out loud so that the doctor can answer. And guess what? We don't stop there. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We are also on Instagram at SpiceFMKE. Just head over there while giving us a follow and asking your questions. And I will not stop there. I've opened the phone lines. Yes, indeed, I have. The number you're calling is 0719 012 600. So you have a choice to shoot your text on 40127. You can remain anonymous just right there. Barbara or Eric or Emmanuel, please don't read my name. We'll heed to that call. Or you could call and not even announce your name. And we're going to check out what you've got to say. Barbara, what are you learning?
I'll start with the SMS codes. I have a couple of questions. So Dr. Harry, you'll allow me to read some of them. Owina Victor says, I'm listening from Kisumu. Doc, I would like to talk to you privately, not on the internet. Please give her number. Well, actually, she'll share her contacts before the end of the show. Then you can communicate. So Victor, just stay tuned till the end. And we have someone else. I'll not be reading their names. Allow me to do that. My banana is very small and I'm reaching 19 years on February 14th. Is it something you can help me with? Then we have another question by a lady who's saying, I listen to Spice every day. I'm on my way home and I would like my cookie to be tightened. How much will it cost me? Another gentleman is asking, Daktari, how can I detect if my bae's physical features are natural, like her boobs, her hips, and maybe her hairline? For him, he thinks this particular lady has had procedures done. Okay, this man, surely you don't want her to look natural. So he wants to know, is there a way he can detect that she's had some work done?
Hi. So I would say, why do you want to detect? As long as you're enjoying, then just leave it at that.
Yes.
And, instead of bringing unnecessary problems. But there's no real way to detect, actually. It can be a really good job done by a doctor and you just won't be able to tell.
Yes.
And for the other lady who's concerned, yes, we can make it tighter. We can make it smaller. We can help you enjoy better. Cost implications, it can cost you anywhere between 40 to 50,000 a session. And that's just 3 sessions as we mentioned. So, but yeah, and then
every session, either of between the amount?
Yes.
Okay.
And post that, I only see you after 2 years. So it requires a maintenance, and that's why after 2 years.
Okay.
But then again, just maybe 1 session every 2 years.
And for the gentleman who says he has a small banana?
Well, you're 19. I think you can wait it out.
It could be growing?
Yes, men generally grow till they're 23, 24. Anyhow, height, body, whatever it is. So we could wait it out before you actually take a final decision.
Yes.
You also deal with things like acne and like if I have a wart, which is just crazy and I want to get rid of it, you do that too, right?
Yes, I think acne is one of the most persisting problems, be it young, teenagers or adults or even someone in their 40s and 50s. So it's something that can persist all your life. But it's a simple procedure. We only do it for you once a week. It takes 5 minutes. And we do about 10 to 12 sessions and, we get rid of your acne completely. However, we do at some point rule out any underlying problems, why the acne is coming, where it's coming from. Is it hormonal imbalance or, is it some other problem that you may have? But there's always a way to treat it. There's no way that we can't treat it. As for warts, it's just the same as the skin tags. And yes, just a one-time procedure, anything between 2 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on how many and how big. And we can still treat those as well. Yeah.
There's a lady who's asking, do you treat visible veins on the leg calf? And is it something that is treatable?
Yes, it is. Whether it's varicose veins or spider veins, we can treat them. However, there are different modes of treatment. There's laser, there's injectables, which there's something that we inject, which is called foam, which dissolves the vein, or it just, sort of compresses the vein. But yes, it's treatable. I'd, however, have to see and then evaluate and then decide whether we can actually do treatment on it or not.
So Collins Mohindi is asking an interesting question there, Dr. He says he's listening to us from Mombasa. My question is, do we have women with deeper or shallow vaginas? I think he's trying to find out if all the lengths and the breadths are the same.
I wouldn't comment on the length, but yes, breadths are different, and that's the whole idea of tightening. But it really depends. I mean, it shouldn't be of a concern to somebody as much.
Yeah.
As long as both of you as a couple are having sensation, enjoying what you're doing, I think it should be okay. But yes, there are different, we're all big, we're all small, everybody's different.
Yeah.
So, the uterus of the vagina varies as well.
I have a question from 3 gentlemen that seems similar, and I don't know if they're all interested in this issue of size of their banana, and how much does it cost? Is it the same as the vagina one, tightening?
Yes, the cost is the same, anything between 45,000 to 50,000. We've also tried to keep it as economical as possible, because as opposed to laser or as opposed to surgery, I'm sure everybody knows you spend way much more. And even worldwide, we've tried to keep it economical in terms of whether you'd get it done in Kenya or whether you'd get it done anywhere else in the world. Disregarding the US, because US prices are stupendously high.
Yes.
But yeah, I think this is what anybody would spend per session.
For men, is it the same time? Do they also do the 3 sessions?
Yes, they do the 3 sessions, and it still takes just 5 to 10 minutes. And then we see you after 2 years or 1.5 years.
Men
But then
start
again-
saving.
Because you shared about how you deal with the ladies and increase sensitivity. There are some men who also suffer from hypersensitivity. Their penis is too sensitive, so they're always getting to premature ejaculation. Do you sort such a condition out?
So it helps both ways. You see, again, the issue of premature ejaculation is the muscle or the sensation being too quick or the muscle being too loose to a certain extent. So all we're trying to do is regenerate the muscle. And when we've done that, it's new. So whether it's on the bad side or on the good side, in terms of whether it's premature ejaculation or whether you're taking too long, we're curing both of them. Yeah.
Somebody was asking an interesting question, Barbara. I see that Dan is asking, please ask Dr. if there is a way to increase size without having surgery. What if somebody doesn't want to go under the knife? Can they pop
No one
pills?
is going under the knife. She said it.
Yeah, this is not a surgical procedure. We're injecting plasma, and we're using local anesthesia or a numbing cream.
So they don't want to be injected.
Okay, that's not possible. It's not possible.
So there are no pills to pop?
Yeah, I was just getting to that.
Okay.
There's always, that business of people saying, have these tablets and it grows, or, apply this cream and it grows, but it really doesn't work. There's nothing like that, because if that was possible, then I think we'd all be doing that, and we'd all be increasing our height as well to a certain extent. No, it's not possible. Scientifically, it's not possible.
In fact, there's someone who was saying that the people who advertise creams. So you're advertising a cream, and then you say, if you take this cream and apply it, it'll enlarge, right, the banana. So he was asking, what happens to the hand?
That's a good theory, but there are people who need to actually think like that.
Maybe their hand doesn't have the same tissue as the banana.
Probably.
If I was a quack doctor, I'd say that. And I'd still get your money. We are the adults in the room. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for choosing 94.4 Spice FM. Listen, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, eh? Those questions you've had that have been bugging you about your size or even your girth area. If you don't come from Emmanuel's clan, you might have a burning question about your girth. And this is a good chance to ask. Why? Because we have a specialist. We have a specialist specialist in one, Dr. Arshni Malde, who is a specialist in aesthetic medicine. So you want to shoot your question, whichever the question might be, on 40127. If you have concerns, if you want to get clarifications about whatever it is you have, shoot your question. She's here with us for the next, 46 minutes? Not a long time, so don't wait around too long. What are you learning, Barbara?
There's a lady who's asking, Daktari, can I get hips? Can you enlarge my hips?
Yes, we can. It's well, there are two ways of doing it: surgery and non-surgical. So to a certain extent, non-surgically, we can enlarge them. We can give you the right shape. It's not always necessarily enlarging. You could have hips and they're just not, rightly framed. They're not just rightly curved. So we can restructure them, and we can, it's called collagen induction. We're introducing collagen into your hips, and it's all non-surgical. But there's always the fat transfer that happens. We can remove fat from one area of the body and inject it into another area. I, however, don't do that because that's a surgical procedure. And then obviously there's the silicone and all of that as well. But so yes, surgical, non-surgical, both is possible.
Okay. Another one is asking, or do we still have some time? Do you deal with keloids?
Yes, we do. It's one major thing that I have seen here in Kenya. A lot of people suffer from keloids. Keloid is a scar, and it's basically from any kind of trauma to your skin. And we do deal with it. And believe you me, it's a miraculous treatment. Just 2 minutes, just 5 minutes, and we've gotten rid of your keloid completely forever.
Could this be the same scars that some of us are just born with them? That we are told we were burnt when something in our mother's stomachs burnt us. Could you actually also remove those scars?
To a certain extent, yes, depending on how extensive they are and, how bad the scar is.
Okay.
But yes, I do treat scars, be it keloids or burn scars or any other scars, and we try and restore them at least 80 to 90%.
You had the gentleman before we go on the break. One of them has a tattoo. I'm not going to say which one. And let's imagine that the tattoo is just not something that you like or you've changed. Can you help someone erase it?
Yes, we can. There's laser that's high-tech enough to actually erase your tattoo off now. So you don't have to go the old school way of cutting it off or, going through surgery or plastic surgery or anything like that. Just a few laser sessions and you can get rid of your tattoo
So
completely.
what happens? You just remain with some numb skin there?
Not really. Tattoo is basically ink that is deposited under your skin. So with the laser, you're just breaking down the ink particles, and they sort of dissolve and then just get out of your body.
So it just looks normal.
Yeah.
That's good.
We are hanging out with Dr. Arshni Malde, who's a specialist in aesthetic medicine, and we are right in the middle of, picking your phone calls and even reading some of the questions you might have. Good evening to you, 20 minutes past 9 o'clock. We are the adults in the room. Thank you so much once more for choosing Spice FM. Today was a special day, still is. We are hanging out with Dr. Arshni Malde, who's a specialist in aesthetic medicine. And we've been discussing all things liposuction, all things breast enhancement, all things gluteal enhancement. And it's your chance now to ask whichever question you want. I have opened the phone lines. The number you're calling is 0719 012 600. Zara.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Zara.
Zara. Habari za leo?
Za kwangu ni nzuri. Za kwenu.
Tuko tunashukuru. Asante kwa muda wako. Tuko na mgeni leo, uko na swali?
Yeah. Good evening, Dr.
Hi, good evening, Zara.
Okay, I would wish if you could also talk about the blue tablet. They call it the blue pill. Because sometimes I see men admitted in the hospital with a very enormous erection that refuses to fade away. What actually happens? And are those things really necessary? Something.
So Zara, I think probably men just go out of their way and they want to really impress, so they really want to perform, and that's the reason they take it. But yes, maybe they just overdose, or maybe they're just super sensitive to it, and then they don't know how to control, or they don't know what to do, and they get really scared themselves, and then that's why they end up in hospital. But it's quite natural because a lot of men around the world take it every so often. I think it's just that they need to know what they're doing. They need to accept what they're doing and what's going to come their way, and, not get too scared out of it. But it's not something life-threatening. You have to obviously be careful and take the right dose. Don't pop yourself like 2-3 pills together, because then obviously there's going to be some serious problems. But I think as women, we need to accept it as well. Like I said, not many men know about stem cell therapy, and that's the fastest way out for them, because men are more sensitive to this issue than women are. And, they feel that when they're not erect or they can't perform, it really hampers with their ego, their confidence, and their image, and all in all. So, yes, they need to do it more than we need to as women.
Are there any warning signs so that I know that I'm popping a pill and I might get into trouble? Is there any, or you just know it when it happens?
Not really. You might even not know. I mean, for the man, yes, if you get scared and you don't know what to do after, or, it's just something so unusual, and then you get really scared, then yes, because it does come with a lot of energy. It comes with a really fast heartbeat or heart rate as well. So you need to know how to control it, and you need to know that you're taking the right dose. But as long as you've, I think read enough about it, because now what happens is you get a lot of this stuff over the counter without prescription, and, a lot of men just take it just all the time.
Yeah, you just get it from, you had someone else saying that they took it and it worked, so even you just go to the chemist and go get it.
Yeah, and then you're blindly doing it without really having knowledge about it. So just be aware of what you're doing, and I think it's okay. There's no harm.
Yeah. We are picking your phone calls all the way until 10 o'clock. I saw you calling, and when Daktari was speaking, you dropped the call. Call me right now. Daktari is here just for you, 0719-012-600. We are picking your calls. Make sure you switch off your radio.
Nelly from Nakuru is saying, shout out to my bae, Anthony. Also remember, it's Shout Out Thursday.
Absolutely. Spice, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm very fine.
Thank you for calling. What is your question, sir, or comment?
Okay, I have a question. So I'm actually 20 years old. Yeah, I'm a young person. So my problem is, I have a problem with masturbation.
A problem with masturbation?
Yeah, I've actually had it most of my teenage life, I should say. Yeah, and now I think I have a problem with my banana because I think it's so small.
Oh, it's so small.
Yeah, I'm tempted to think it's because of all the results of the masturbation.
Alrighty, thank you for calling. Daktari, hold that thought, you will opine on it. Yes, good evening, sir. Please switch off your radio when you call so that we don't hear feedback. If you call and your radio is high up there, we are not going to communicate. Switch off your radio. Spice, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm Dan from Malde.
Thank you, Dan, for calling. What are your thoughts or question?
The dog just talked about the hair implantation.
Sorry?
We can't hear you clearly, please.
The hair implantation, right?
Yes.
So, like she says, there is parting of hair from a region where it's more to the region where it's lesser. So what about beard? Let me say, I'm heading to my 30s,
Yes.
and I'm completely beardless, No, the hair. Well, that mustache hair.
Yeah. No mustache or beard.
Yeah, there's no beard. Then there is no those areas that bring the mustache. You understand that?
Yes.
So if I need it, I need the beard. And it's about plugging from where it's more to where it's less. How will she help me on that?
Alrighty, Daktari has heard you. I'm sure she has an answer. Doc, you know, you're once a dentist. I once dated one, and they are so smart. They can listen to 15 questions and answer one after the other. So let's pick a few more, maybe one more, and then you'll answer, you'll react to those questions. Is that okay?
Yes.
Spice, good evening. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, hi. Or a shame. You want to look for a proper network. Daktari, the guy who suspects his banana has grown smaller because of his masturbation addiction, and the gentleman who can't grow beards. Your reaction?
There's no relation between masturbation and small size. So I don't think he should be worried. And yes, you are young. Just wait it out. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
And as for the hair transplants and beard transplant per se, he was concerned not having beard and mustache. Yes, it's possible, and we're still getting the hair from the back of your head and implanting into the beard and the mustache.
Yeah.
We give you the most appropriate design in terms of we draw out the design before we actually give it to you. And, you know, as per your face cut and as per your face structure, we give you what's right and we wait for you to approve of it. And then once you have is when we do the implants of the hair. So we can give you a full beard and a full mustache, although it's going to take 8 months to grow, but it's going to grow all out.
Also, it applies to the baldness, also 8 months?
Yes, it does.
And also there's some people who, they want to get rid of their beards.
Yes, I just had somebody ask me that today in the clinic, and they said that they want to laser it out. And I said, why? You know, a beard is an in thing right now. But I often find most Kenyan men don't like their beards. 2 reasons. One, because they get a lot of razor bumps. And number 2, I think it's just not in trend as much.
As it used to be.
Yeah. So, but I would say don't laser it out or don't have it permanently removed. There's always shaving, which is the fastest, quickest option. Because someday you may realize that you want to grow your beard and you won't have any hair to grow it out. So it's not going to be possible.
I remember, because I used to swim quite a bit when I was in college and high school. Some guys would have very hairy, you know, bums and backs. So guys would laugh at them like, you're so hairy. Do you have guys who come to get rid of hair from, you know, like your back, your bum, you know, your especially men?
Yes, we do. Men are really concerned, especially the back hair or the bum hair. And but I do often get a few of those men who want to remove hand hair, leg hair as well. So yes, it's quite common. And I think quite a few percentage of men don't like any kind of body hair, so they do want to remove it. But obviously it's more females than males. So yes, I think everybody wants to be, females want to be hairless completely.
Is it visible, the self-esteem bump when you do those procedures? Like, do you see it? You're like, this person, his demeanor has even changed after the surgery or after the whatever they are requesting.
Yes, it is. Definitely visible. Yeah.
Alrighty, let's pick some phone calls, Emmanuel. Remember, we are picking your phone calls all the way until 10 o'clock. It's your chance now to ask Daktari whichever question you might have. Just make sure to switch off your radio. Spice, good evening. Hello, Spice. Oh, shame. Akinyi.
Hello.
Hi, Akinyi. How are you?
Very well. Yourself?
Very well. Thanks for calling. Karibu.
Asante. Doctor, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thanks. I had a question. I was just listening, and you guys were talking about fixing, the butt, the vaginal area, and also the hair. But I was curious about the procedures to do with the facial area, say specifically the eyes. Do you have procedures that treat or rather correct droopy eyes? I think the condition is called ptosis. That's PTOSI, yes?
Yeah.
when the muscles around the eyes weaken because of, rubbing from childhood or something like that. So my question is, do you have treatments for that? What does it involve? Maybe if you can delve into that procedure a bit more, and how much does it cost? I would appreciate that.
Thank you, Kinyi.
Hi again. So yes, we do treatments for ptosis. Ptosis can be because of anything, and we can do various treatments from Botox to rectify ptosis. We can do treatments like an eyebrow lift. We can also do treatments like a non-surgical blepharoplasty, just to lift the eyelid. So it really depends, and you'd have to come in for a consultation, and I would have to evaluate a lot of things before we actually take a decision on whether you want to or how to get it done. Cost implications again can vary from anything between 20,000 to 150,000, depending on the extent and depending also on how many procedures you would need and how you actually want it to look after.
All right. Ruth, good evening. Hi, Ruth.
Good evening.
Hi,
evening, how are
Ruth.
you?
Please speak up. I can barely hear you.
Emmanuel.
Hi, Ruth. Hello?
Oh, her line is faint. Ruth, please call us back. Spice, good evening.
Good evening, Spice.
Yes, hi. How are you, sir?
I'm well.
Thank you for calling. What is your comment or question?
This is Walter from Limuru.
Walter Karibu.
Please raise your voice.
Yeah, I think you can hear me now.
No, it's pretty faint.
Alrighty. Walter, call back. Spice, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Yes, better now. What are your thoughts or question?
Yes, I would like to ask a question.
Sure, shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot.
From
Yes, we're listening.
From my shoulder to my face,
Mm-hmm.
there is some small pimples, but it has been there for a while. I was asking maybe there is a way you can work on it so that I can remove it. It's not like there is always that. I've tried a lot, but there is those small pimples from my shoulder towards my face. Even my face, there is those small pimples.
Doctor, I think you will have a lot of people visiting the clinic because it's very hard to diagnose or pronounce a prescription on the air without seeing them.
But it sounds like the tags you're talking about, Barbara.
But this one, yeah, could be skin tags.
Yeah, it could be skin tags. If she's saying pimples, it could be pimples
or acne.
Yes, acne, or it could be adult acne, or it could be rosacea. There's lots of different things. So I would suggest you to visit the clinic or call us, and we could have an online consultation. But I need to see visually and actually tell what kind of pimple it is. Yeah,
absolutely. If you have a condition, sometimes it's difficult to pronounce it on the air because somebody will start guessing. So maybe at the tail end, Dr. will share with us her address, her clinic, or even phone lines where you can reach her. So worry not. But still picking your phone calls about questions you might have. The number is 0719 012 600. Make sure, please, to switch off your radio when you call. We want to hear you, and we want Dr. to hear you, so you don't waste your airtime or even your time. Good evening, Spice.
Good evening, Spice.
Yes, hi. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Thank you for calling. Your question or comment?
This is Walter.
Sure.
I would like to ask Dr. Can she do something to my
Can she do something to
my cracked chin?
Cracked chin.
Your cracked chin.
Heel. Cracked heel.
Cracked heel.
Skin.
Skin.
Okay.
Ngozi, skin. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which looks like it's sticky.
Maybe you'd like to call us and elaborate on what you mean by cracked skin.
Yeah.
But if you really mean that it's just dry skin, then yes, it's definitely treatable.
Yeah.
However, you could start off with moisturizing and moisturizing with some good cream, which is oil based. That will really help.
Alrighty.
How about the heel? You know those cracked heels? How is there a home remedy for that?
I would say Vicks.
There are actually very many home remedies.
Yeah, there
many.
are.
But I can come to you and have it, sorted in a more modern way. Right?
I would say so, but then again, it's something that you need to keep maintaining. It's just dry skin at the end of the day, and because that part of the heel is actually hard skin, it's something that can keep recurring. So you don't want to come to me all the time.
Yeah.
But we do tell you on how to maintain, what you can do, and it's just easy stuff, not something too complicated wherein you're spending 2 hours of the day doing it. But I always say maintain on your own, and in as much as wanting to come to me every other day for anything for that matter. Yeah.
Alrighty, some more phone calls, and then Barbara, you could read whatever I see you trying to read there. Spice, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, hi, sir. How are you?
Fine. There's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Victor calling.
Victor calling from?
Baby.
Yes. What's the problem?
When having sex with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
she feels pain. What to do?
When you have sex with a wife, she feels pain. Alrighty. The line is slightly faint there from Oyugis, but Daktari has heard. Hi, from Riru. How are you?
Hi.
How-
Emmanuel.
Hi.
No, actually. Hello.
Thanks
Hi,
for
how are
calling.
you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you today?
Very well, thank you for calling. You're very happy. What's happening in Riru?
Everything is okay.
Fantastic.
I'm just enjoying the show. It's fantastic.
What are your thoughts about the conversation, or a question to Daktari, perhaps?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about eye bags.
Eye bags.
Yes.
What about them?
What can be done and the cost implication?
All right. Is that all, or is there another question?
No, just that for now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yes.
Hi, eye bags. I have the most short treatment for eye bags. Just a 10-minute procedure. Your eye bags are gone, lightened completely as well. And cost implications, anything starting from 20,000 again. And I think we were talking to somebody who was mentioning his wife has painful sex.
Yes.
Or she feels pain while having sex. That's absolutely treatable. And that's what we've been talking about, stem cell therapy. And it really eases out on the pain and, will give her more pleasure, actually. Yeah.
Barbara, is there something you've read you want to...
There's a common question, but I don't know if... I feel Daktari had already answered it, but for the sake of those who are asking, there are people asking a question about acne and black spots. And then the second questions, we have ladies who are asking if they have sagging boobs, those ones that when they remove their bra, it just falls off. Is there a remedy or something you can do to help them?
Acne, definitely yes. Like I mentioned, just a few treatments, and it's a 5-minute treatment every time.
Someone's asking about the cost of it.
We charge between 10 to 15,000 a session. However, considering you need about 10 sessions, that would be the entire cost implication. But it's a permanent solution. They most likely, in 99% of the cases, don't come back. Dark spots are only treated after the acne is treated because the acne can bring in more dark spots. So, yes, get your acne treated and then we treat the dark spots after with a lot of different treatments depending on what you actually need and how dark the spots are. But most dark spots vanish when we're just trying to treat the acne on its own itself. Getting to the saggy boobs, yes, we do tighten, but not in the case where they literally fall off. But yes, if they're quite saggy, we can lift them, we can tighten them, we can get rid of the wrinkles, and we can make them a little more firm. But if it's something too saggy, surgery would be the only option.
Right. If someone was bit on the nipple and then they lost sensitivity, Is there a way to restore sensitivity to the nipple?
Maybe not. If the nipple is still intact,
It's a
then
dead nipple. The party forgot to ask is the nipple was trying to be found with a torch behind the house and it wouldn't be found. So this is a person who is nipple-less.
No, it's there, but it's
No, the nipple is there. It was stitched back. But now one of it is not sensitive. The other one is sensitive.
so you can't restore sensitivity.
not really.
Yeah.
It's sad.
So it's a dead nipple, in other words. Let's see how this person has to say. Good evening, Spice
Ole
FM.
Emmanuel.
Hello, Spice FM.
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. What is your question?
Yeah, I would like to ask Daktari, how can she help ladies who don't have, like they cannot hold urine during short call?
They cannot hold urine during short call.
Yeah.
So
when
the
you
urine just comes
feel
out.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you so much. Daktari will answer more phone calls. Spice, good evening.
Hello, Eric.
Yes, sir, how are you?
I'm good. What about you?
Very well, thank you for calling. Question you have or comment?
This is Abraham from Kisumu.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to ask if doctor can reduce Tambi.
If the doctor can reduce Kitambi.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Another question, Spice, good evening.
good evening to you.
Yes, what's your name, sir, and where are you calling from? If you care to share.
I'm
if you
Edwin
don't-
from Kisumu.
Okay, Edwin from Kisumu, karibu sana. What is your question or
My
comment?
question is masturbation healthy?
Is masturbation healthy? Edwin wants to know. 0719-012-600 is a number. We are picking your phone calls all the way until 10 o'clock. I can pick one more phone call before we head on the break, and then when we come back, Dr. will answer them. Spice, good evening. Hello, Spice. Kiprop.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Very well,
Fine,
sir. Thank you for calling.
I would like to ask a concerned citizen to the doc. Now, there are these very statue short men.
There's what with
height,
the short
I mean.
man? Height.
Yes. So when they go to the doctor, does the doctor like concern and they say like this is too heavy for you and decline, or they give whatever they order?
Daktari, have you understood the question? Alrighty. So, Daktari will answer. Thank you so much for calling. We are picking your phone calls all the way until 10 o'clock. So, keep calling. The number you're calling is 0719-012-600. That is the number. Make sure you switch off your radio so that we don't hear feedback. We are discussing things that can heal us sexually. So some Marvin Gaye would do, wouldn't it? Good evening to you. 11 minutes to 10 o'clock. You're hanging out with the adults. We have the pleasure of hosting Arshni Malde, who's a specialist in aesthetic medicine. She's been hanging out with us and so gracious. Daktari, we cannot thank you enough. You know, you'd be busy in the clinic. I'm sure you have an early morning tomorrow. It means a lot to us that you'd grace us with your presence and even answer these many questions late into the night on a curfew laden Nairobi. Asante. Yes, asante sana, Daktari. We are picking your phone calls. We are with Daktari for another 10 minutes. So is something pressing you that you need clarification on? This is your chance. 0719-012-600. Spice, good evening.
This is Joshua from Kisumu.
Yes, Joshua, good evening.
I'll ask you
You'll ask Daktari, sorry, say that again.
if at all we can be good with masturbation and if it's healthy.
All right. Asante, let's answer those other questions. They've reminded me that we had a bunch.
Yes.
So let's try and answer them in the shortest time we have. Maybe we pick two more and then we call it a night, I guess.
Yes, there was one about a lady was asking about holding urine.
Like we spoke earlier, stem cell therapy works best for urinary incontinence or urinary infections, and it will help you hold your urine However, it'll help you hold your urine right. So obviously when you're urinating, you're supposed to. But even Kegel exercises do help. Start off with that before you come to see me. It's just going to be good progress for you. But yes, do come in. It's a short procedure. No side effects because we're using your own blood, your own plasma. And it's going to work wonders. You'll see for yourself.
There's someone else who's asking if you can reduce the pot belly.
Pot belly, like I said, depends on the size. Because what I do is non-surgical, and if it is too extensive, we can't. You'd have to go under the knife. But if it is doable, yes, we can reduce it.
If it's something minimal or small, then it can be reduced. But
minimal.
They have to go through surgery.
Yeah, when there's too much of fat, then you have to go through surgery to remove the fat. So a liposuction per se, or if it's too saggy skin after a lot of weight loss, that's not pot belly, but just generally explaining, then we can't tighten that saggy skin. You have to have it cut off. But if it's something moderate, yes, we can always tighten it.
Alrighty. And then there was is masturbation healthy?
To a certain extent, yes. But too much of anything is not good. So do it, but not too much.
How do you moderate? How do you stop the excesses? 3 times before you sleep or once?
Really, Eric?
I wouldn't give a limit to anybody. I think you know yourselves, you know your bodies, and it's always good to limit yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
Also, Dr. that's not your area, so it's unfair to keep asking doctor about masturbation.
There's a lady who's asking, I have dandruffs. A gentleman, I have dandruff and I have oily skin. Is it something that is treatable?
Yes, of course it is. Dandruff is scaly skin. It's just dry skin that's falling off. It could be because of excessive oily skin, or it could be because of excessive dry skin. So it is treatable. Do consult with us. Do give us a call to book a consultation.
Alrighty, so we pick some more phone calls?
Yep.
Spice, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Unaongea na nani?
Unaongea na Kemutai.
Kemutai ni aje jo? Huh?
Kemutai is a bit faint.
Ulikuwa unaulizaje saa Kemutai ubongi maze? Piga tena bro. Spice, good evening. Alrighty, so please make sure to switch off your radio when you call so we don't hear feedback. Spice, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Good evening. How are you, my dear?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. I wanted to ask. I'm a mother of 2.
Yes.
Yes, 34 years now. The 2 boys were through CS.
Yes.
Then after the next one now, normally I really have a problem doing sex.
Yes.
And I feel a lot of pain. At times I have a lot of back pain. And wondering why the back pain. As a couple, at times we tend to say that maybe lack of sex can bring the back pain. But even after that sex, the back pain persists. So I don't know whether Dr. could help us on this.
Alrighty, thank you. I think we have time for one last phone call, and then Dr. you can answer before we call it a night. Spice, good evening.
Hello.
Yes.
My name.
Glasi imepasuka.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Glasi
Eric, there's a recurring question. Can I ask?
Let me pick one last phone call, then you'll ask. Spice, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
All right, Barbara, ask that question.
There are about 3 questions. Do you take NHIF and insurance, or it's just straight up? Someone needs to pay you if they want your services.
We don't take insurance. We're not tied up with any insurance companies because aesthetic procedures in general are not covered by any insurance companies.
Yes.
Likewise, stem cell therapy is not covered by any insurance company. So unfortunately, we don't. NHIF, yes, to a certain extent does accept. However, it's a really long, lengthy procedure. But we're willing to go through that if that's what's going to make it easier for you and actually give you results at the end of the day.
There was a lady who was asking about the CS and pain during sex and back pain. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, it could be related, but I would have a lot of questions for her because I've not seen her. Is weight an issue? Are you doing any exercises to relieve your body? Are you doing any exercises, to be fit, to be flexible? Secondly, is that back pain because of something else? Is there any other ailment that's bringing you the back pain? You could relate it to childbirth, giving birth, but it could not be the reason as well. So there's lots of evaluation that we'd have to do before we actually realize that the back pain is because of that, or the back pain is post-sex. But it's definitely treatable in some way or the other. And there's a lot of lifestyle changes that I would suggest somebody to go through just to be fitter, healthier, and then obviously we definitely treat it otherwise.
Alrighty. Daktari, there seem to be so much questions and a lot of concerns, and I think most of these should be directed to your end personally, and even your clinic or your website. If somebody is listening, maybe somebody is shy and they have a personal pressing issue, how can someone reach you?
You can call us directly on 0799 995716. We're located in Nairobi, in Parklands to be specific, and High Ridge to be even more specific. But you can find us on our social media handles. Just look us up on Tia Clinics KE to be precise. That's Instagram and Facebook. And otherwise, we have a website, www.tiaclinics.co.ke.
Please repeat the number for anyone who had not gotten it, because there are several people who are asking for your contacts.
I'm sure. So that's 0799 995716.
9957160799.
Yes.
Alrighty, so I can say it slowly in Doluo. 0799 995716.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's
Alrighty.
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you have a question, I see a lot of phone calls still coming in. Unfortunately, that's all the time we had. Doctor, we are so grateful. Arshni, Malde, we are so grateful for your time. Thank you for according us a whole 2 hours of your time.
Really.
We don't take it lightly, and I hope we can further have more conversations that are enlightening like the ones we've had, so that we are better acquainted with cosmetic surgery, and we stop being ignorant about ways that people can improve even their looks. And thank you so much. I saw you came with Dad and Mom. Plans for the evening? Are you just going to go home and sleep, or you're going for dinner?
Yeah, curfew.
Curfew.
But I have a curfew pass, so I can get away. But yes, no, they're just extreme support for me, both of them. My dad's the coolest person, and he always motivates me to do these things. But thank you all for having me here. It was such a pleasure. And it's allowed me to give out so much information to all the Kenyans out there because, like I said, we don't know it's available in Kenya. So let's start getting to know that it is available in Kenya.
On my own behalf, on behalf of my colleagues in Barbara and Emmanuel, and my super duper producer, Mumbi Njoroge, who works really hard to make sure that the show and the broadcast is palatable to you, I want to thank you so very much. Let's do it again tomorrow, 7 to 10. Good evening. It's 10 p.m.
Good night.
They are smart, they are funny, and unfailingly entertaining. They are the adults in the room, and they are here to help you be the best adult you can be. Whether it is matters of the heart, finances, or work that's weighing on your mind, worry not. The adults in the room will help you stay winning.